I am so passionate about the mission, but I also believe that you could have fun doing it, right? You could have a culture that does allow people to have career progression. We have multiple opportunities to pursue certifications. We pay for education credit so that somebody could pursue their career, because I believe that you have to own your career, but we want to give them a path and facilitate that.
Welcome to Security Cleared Jobs, Who's Hiring and How, the podcast for cleared professionals looking for new opportunities and career advice. We go behind the scenes with recruiters and hiring managers from leading cleared employers to uncover the information you need to make a smart career move. Get ready for insights from this week's guest and your hosts, Kathleen Smith and Rachel Bozeman.
Welcome, everyone, and here is another episode of Security Cleared Jobs, Who's Hiring and How. I'm Kathleen with ClearedJobs.Net, joined by my fabulous co-host, Rachel. Rachel, how you doing today?
You know, so fantastic. And I just want to say a big old howdy to all of our friends out there listening. And I know that they are eagerly as excited as I am to learn about another cleared facilities employer. So Kathleen, don't keep us waiting. Who in the heck are we going to talk to today?
So today's guest is Shandi Perkins, founder and CEO of Cadence Coalition. Welcome to the show, Shandi.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
We are so excited that you are here, and not only because you're amazing and wonderful and have great stories and great things to share, but I heard you have a pretty interesting backstory. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came about founding Cadence Coalition.
I am one of those unique people that joined the military in high school, went into the Army. I soon realized that I would love to pursue my degree, get the GI Bill and all that. So I got an awesome job here over in MacDill Air Force Base, supporting Special Operations Command. And then I've been working in the DoD space for the last 15 plus years in different roles, program management, technical user testing, anything business development. And I took everything I learned and I wanted to create an amazing organization that supports veterans, the warfighter, and had a great culture. So I established Cadence Coalition almost 3 years ago, and it has been full steam ahead since.
Awesome. I love MacDill because years ago, we would send care packages to the military working dogs. And MacDill was where they were all deployed from, and we would send our huge packages to MacDill. So we always have a great space in our heart for MacDill. So, Shandi, tell us a little bit about the work that you do with Cadence Coalition in the cleared community.
Yeah, so we're an IT and intelligence services company. Like I said, primarily supporting the Department of Defense. So combatant commands, we happen to have two in our backyard here, with MacDill being the home of Central Command and Special Operations Command. So those are our customers. But we also support UCOM over in Stuttgart, and then AFRICOM in Djibouti and other areas in Africa. And then also NORTHCOM, which is over in Colorado Springs. So we have the sun, you have the snow. If you want to go to Europe, we also have roles there.
A little bit of everything for everyone. That sounds fantastic. And speaking of a little everything for everybody, if someone was seeking a new career there at Cadence Coalition, what type of skill sets or positions are you actively trying to fill?
We have a wide range, but I would say right now, majority of our roles are IT focused. So we have some web development, some SharePoint administrators. We have network administrators, network architects, and then we also have some intelligence positions. I come from a human intelligence collection background, so human, and also intelligence analysts. So there are a lot of different roles, but bulk of them are more in the IT realm.
As you talk about the growth of Cadence Coalition, what are some of the skill sets that you're going to look for people who are going to help you grow your company? And what would you consider your greatest hiring need?
We kind of look at it two different ways. You have our internal focus team, which is the one that keeps everything moving, right? And supports our customers, make sure all of our employees are taken care of, payroll, anything with facility security team. But we also have the external teams, and those are our partners that are out there, our contractors that are supporting the mission. So whether that be, like we said, combatant commands. And so it really depends. Personally, what we look for are really more on the soft skills and really love working with veterans. Of course, we are not exclusive to veterans, but it just fits in very nicely with the DoD mission. But I always look for people who are really eager and excited to progress in their career. And we try to pave a very clear path for them to succeed, whether that be supporting us internally in our corporate team or supporting a customer. So as far as skill sets from a technical standpoint, certifications are a lot of times required, and all of our positions are cleared that are out supporting our customers. So, of course, we are looking for someone who at least has a secret clearance, and then also that has certifications that are in their career path. So, if you are looking for a network administration role, well, it'd be really great to get, a CCNA, a Sec Plus at a minimum. And of course, if we can get a waiver, we always advocate for our employees to get a waiver so that they can continue to progress rather than stepping in right away with their certs. But it is a lot of times a requirement. There are so many different skill sets within the IT space, but just to hit on like a SharePoint administrator, some of them only require Security Plus. So it really depends.
So I'm going to back up a little bit. And you touched on soft skills earlier, especially when you're talking about the growth of your company. And we don't get much opportunity to talk about soft skills. So can you sort of list one or two that you really think are important to help a company such as yours that has both an internal team and an external team? What are some of the soft skills that people really should hone in on when they're applying for a position at Cadence or they're going through their interview process?
I actually just spoke about this yesterday at a college, and I'll tell you a little story because I look at things very differently. I worked for IBM, I've worked for I actually worked for a staffing firm. We focus on cleared professionals. And believe it or not, 80% of hiring managers would rather have a good cultural fit than they would rather have the perfect technical fit. Because, the radiator and drain analogy, right? You have the radiators that they radiate positive energy. They're very driven and motivated, and that really levels the team and the culture up. And then you have some of those, they may be geniuses, they may be really technical, but they are a little bit of the drain. And I would say the soft skills that are so critical is, when we were in the service, right, you have that camaraderie. Communication is key. And just somebody who has that ambition and takes initiative that is out there and looking at it from a team mentality standpoint and how they can improve the mission, how they can support the customer in the best way. Sometimes you have to tell a customer maybe their way, it could be a different way and would be improved. So those communication skills are critical. You should be able to say what you need to say, but in a way that is going to allow the other person to respond and bring a better team dynamic. So I think those are two of the most critical. But I have a young lady who started with me as an intern with her finance degree, and it was only supposed to be for that semester. This woman's still with me today. She's been with us the longest, and we are getting her more training and education. And even she's pursuing her CPA certification. She owns everything from payroll to internal accounts receivable, payable. And someday I will absolutely have her the director of finance. And she wasn't the most technical right away, right? But she had that drive, that motivation, and just is a team player. And you could throw her on something and she will learn it, take initiative, ask questions. And that is really what I look for, especially on the internal team.
You have just said the exact same thing that we hear time and time and time and time again. Culture over technical. You can teach technical. You can teach certifications. You can teach as you have taught your intern going from, CPA certification all the way up. You have a growth pattern. As long as you have that culture, that drive, that initiative, that wanting to be part of the team, the camaraderie, those are really important. So thank you for reiterating that.
So we've talked a little bit about what you're looking for and those that would be a great fit. But tell me, if I'm on the other side of the table, I'm that incredibly talented security professional that is looking for that career, why in the world do I want to come work for you, Shandi?
Yeah, so that is a great question. And honestly, that is one reason why I established my organization. I am so passionate about the mission, but I also believe that you could have fun doing it, right? You can have a culture that does allow people to have career progression. So for me, what I think that sets us apart is our culture. We have every range of age range. We have multiple opportunities, for example, to pursue certifications. We pay for a certification or an education credit so that somebody could pursue their career, because I believe that you have to own your career, but we want to give them a path and facilitate that. We also have amazing benefits that are actually comparative to a lot of these large organizations. And we invested early on into making sure that we could offer those so that we could set ourselves apart in this very competitive environment. We also have an environment where it's okay to fail, especially for a small team, right? We wear multiple hats internally. You may try something for the first time. It is okay. You have somebody else, and we establish an external mentor for our folks where they can have a very experienced professional that is within our network to allow them to have someone who's unbiased, external party to help them develop. But then we also have all of our new people that are transitioning to our team. They have somebody internally to mentor them. We have a gentleman who actually is on our team and does coaching calls. He was a CIO for a very respected gentleman supporting Special Operations Command before transitioning to our team. And he also, I don't know how this man has this time, but he's an adjunct professor as well in the evening. So he's passionate about mentoring. So I would say that as well. And we really care for our customers. And we look at our customers as our employees as well, not just the customer that we're serving our services to. So we ensure to have a call with them monthly to ensure that the position aligns. We don't want them to feel placed and forgotten. I'm not in Colorado Springs. I'm in sunny Florida, but we want to make sure that they feel that they have that internal team that will advocate for them. So there's a lot of things about our team. All my employees are pretty great. Our partners are great too.
And I think you forgot to mention, you did mention you have chickens. So are there ever fresh eggs available?
Yes.
Like, I'm just kind of wondering that. I feel like that's an important perk.
We have 5 chickens and they lay about a dozen eggs a week.
Wow.
It's sort of reminding me of the other guests that we had that they bake bread together on Fridays. So I'm hearing French toast is going to be happening in Tampa sometime. But you dropped in there that you have Colorado Springs, and I sort of forgot to ask you, where are your various locations? I thought with you mentioning all the different customers you supported, you covered all of your locations. But are there a few more locations we need to know about?
Right now, those are the main locations that we have openings today. However, we have several opportunities that are coming out in the near future that are going to be in the Northern Virginia area, Pensacola, and there are, especially with special operations, there's several, I don't want to throw too many acronyms, word soup at you here, but the TSOCs and components, they span across internationally. So there are opportunities for people to go into those different various locations from over in California all the way back to McDill. The main locations, though, are Africa. Don't knock it till you try it, okay? There's some beautiful places over there. But we have the Stuttgart area here at McDill, and then we also have the Colorado Springs. So the openings today you'll see on our website are those locations.
Awesome. So let's switch gears a little bit here. And as an Army veteran, and thank you again for your service, we know you're always interested in supporting the service members. They're transitioning. We talk about the Skill Bridge program from time to time, depending on, if our guests are part of that program or not. Share with us how you support it.
We actually have a amazing program. We try to start them internally to us to make sure that they really understand the industry side, because it's so different than when you're in uniform. We try to give them a little taste of everything so that they understand exactly what it is when they transition that they want, and including meeting some of the large partners we have, including business development, getting them a little taste of each side of the industry since there's so many different roles. So we always try to have a SkillBridge intern, and we also have a academia internship at all times. We try not to have it, if it's internally, too many people so that we can give them that one-on-one time, that mentorship we talked about. But it starts out where they just learn the basics, government contracting 101. They understand what the difference between a cost plus contract, a firm fixed contract, because we obviously are bidding on work, right? But then also they can understand what the difference between what our facility security officer does versus our recruiter. In fact, we just onboarded our most recent intern. She's amazing. The first week is just getting acclimated to all of our technology. Second week is shadowing every single individual on our team internally and having a questioning plan of really understanding what their day-to-day looks like. And then they all have to be involved in shadow meetings with them. So our recruiter will have her on recruitment calls so that she can understand. And they also have those external mentors that are within the career path that they believe that they want to go down. And then those relationships continue, whether they come on full-time with us or whether they pursue another role. It's been a really great opportunity for both us as well as the SkillBridge intern.
Very cool. I like the way that everybody gets that opportunity to kind of see everyone. I think that's an important part of the program and really an investment. So thank you for sharing that. Now, something we wanted to dig a little bit more into. So certainly understand the importance of that transitioning military. But in previous conversations, you had shared that maybe there's a benefit to coming into a smaller contractor firm when you're kind of making that transition. Can you tell us a little bit more about your thoughts around that?
Yeah. So I transitioned to a very large organization, but I still felt because our team that supported the contract was relatively small, the internal operations team, but I really never engaged with my leadership or my chain because it was just so large. It was really hard to kind of have those connections. So it was very bumpy for me to kind of learn and understand what the industry side was versus the military. So with a small business, it's really great because you're able to have more of that one-on-one time and those shadow opportunities, and really the same thing that a large government contractor would have to do, the small does too, but it's just a smaller team and they have a lot more handovers and crossover with one another. So I think that it's a little less intimidating. It's a little bit more of an ease into the industry side. So I think that small businesses are amazing for that reason, but it's not for everyone. Some people say, leave me alone, let me be. So it really just depends on the person.
Shandi, obviously you've had an opportunity to talk with a variety of job seekers and a variety of transitioning service members. What are some of the advice that you would give to a, shall I say, a civilian job seeker and a military job seeker as far as going through the process? I mean, we hear every day that people are having a more and more difficult challenge. We go to TAP and ACAP presentations virtually or in person, and everyone talks about the challenges. What would be sort of your inspiring advice to them?
Number one is write down your top 5 non-negotiables of what you're looking for in your next career or your next transition. This is a two-way interview when you go through the interview process. Make sure that you know that. So what I would say is make sure that you at least get those top 3 on your top 5. And you also have to own that career. And what I would do is make sure that you have a sponsor, somebody that will help you along the path, that's a mentor that you know when you're not in the room, they're going to throw your name in the hat if they hear about a role for you. And be bold, leverage LinkedIn, leverage your network. If you see an ideal organization that helps those top 3 or satisfies those, reach out to somebody and ask them, hey, tell me about how you like working there. And just be bold and maybe even ask for an interview or say, I saw this role out there. There's nothing more that I love when I get an email of somebody that is eager and excited and wants to learn more about our organization and is not just wading through the black hole, as we like to say. So be bold and make sure that you know exactly what you're looking for.
Yes, it's be bold take that personal initiative. And Rachel, I believe you have a really interesting question coming up.
Would you expect anything less than interesting?
No, I wouldn't.
But I think you might be able to top me on this one, Shandi. So I heard that maybe you have a little fun tale or an exciting experience you had with a recent hiring.
Yes. So I have a couple of them, but I'm going to talk about our SkillBridge intern, I think, because it's exciting that one, she did exactly what we talked about, which is she had an internal advocate, a sponsor, which happens to be our director of strategy and technology. They've worked together and she was bold. She reached out and they had a great conversation and we prepared for her transition and made sure that there was an opening when she was available so that we could slide her seamlessly into the team and that we could pave the path for her. We created her skill bridge. We have a really great program and it's customized per the intern. And honestly, having her already transitioned and already have that role established for her before getting out officially, 3 months out is a win for me because it's so nice to know that these people who have spent 20 plus years in the military, they're not anxious about what that transition looks like. And we were able to help find the right role for her at the right time. So I think that is one of the successes in the last couple weeks.
Awesome. And I'm glad that you talk about a sponsor. And it's interesting because we hear in any kind of job search, career development environment, sponsor, mentor, but having those people that you have networked with and who have worked with you. And I would only add transitioning out of the military. If there was somebody that you worked with on a team that you really knew, one, had your back, but also knew all of the things that you're really good at and where you'll excel at. Don't lose that contact information the moment you transition out. Find their personal email address. If they're willing to be on LinkedIn, connect with them on LinkedIn. And remember, you won't have as many times to interact with them. So you have to make the commitment to keeping in touch with them and letting them know what you're looking for, because they're not going to be able to throw your hat into the ring if they don't know what you're doing now, what's going on with you. So I really appreciate you, Shandi, bringing up the aspect of a sponsor for your career. So we've had a great conversation. How may our audience of security cleared professionals get in touch with you and your team?
Yes, absolutely. So there's 2 ways I would recommend. Definitely add us on LinkedIn. We're very active in our community and we go to conferences. Our recruiter, she has, a page. So if you go to our LinkedIn page, Cadence Coalition, you will see our team members there. But you could also add me personally. Jenna Dorian is our recruiter that is involved with LinkedIn as well. So you could reach out there or just our website. We have openings. We also have an info form. So that's just www.cadencecoalition.com, and we will be responsive and reach back out.
Awesome. Well, Shandi, thank you so much. This has been a fabulous conversation. I really appreciate you sharing with us everything that's so wonderful about Cadence Coalition.
Of course. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. I'll save you some eggs, maybe some
Do
French
it.
toast.
Yes. So Shandi had some really great advice. I love that she mentioned about having a sponsor. And, we really went into detail about what that means. That means having someone you have worked with who knows your abilities, but someone you've kept in touch with who also knows what you're looking for. So if there's a position they hear of, they can throw your hat into the ring. Rachel, what did you like about Shandi's conversation?
I actually jotted down 2 things as we were talking to Shandi that really stuck out to me. And one of them was a little bit about the culture of the organization. And it was the fail fast mentality and that mentorship, that there's always somebody externally and internally there. So if it's something that's going well or not so well, you do have that person there that's there to help. And the other one was great career advice, I think she gave for those that are out there seeking. And that's writing down your 5 non-negotiables that you need to make sure that you have. And it's knowing exactly what those are and looking for those in every conversation that you have. I think it's a great reminder. Be prepared and make sure you keep your network open and close to you. We hope that you enjoyed learning from this episode as much as we did. And it was a lot of fun. So with that, make sure you get out there and follow our show and share this episode with a friend. We'll be back next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So how are those exercises doing? Are you doing your wall sits and stuff?
Yeah. So there's that. And then spent a week in Oklahoma. And dealt with 60-mile-per-hour winds, and so trying to do those while I was walking outside, because I just try to, always am doing a little something extra. And let me just tell you, that's a pretty humbling experience trying to do a squat in 60-mile-per-hour winds. If I can do that, I can do anything.